one other football story before we go. There was a very important match being played just off the A74 yesterday by Gretna Football Club. Now, they're a Scottish club, they're north of the border, but they're affiliated to the English FA, and they were playing yesterday in the FA Qualifying Cup, hoping to make their way through to the first round proper. If they made it, they would become the first Scottish club to do so since the great days of over 100 years ago. Chick Young reports.
England was barely visible through the mist across the Solway, but in any case, Gretna's view is focused another 300 miles or so further south, Wembley Way. Victory here at Raydale Park over their opponents from Cheshire would see the village famous for weddings marry up with the first round proper of the FA Cup to be drawn tomorrow. Well, the first shock for Scottish eyes was Stalybridge, a team called Celtic playing in blue and white. No problem there for black and white hoop Gretna, because 2 years ago they beat a Rangers side which included Graham Souness, Terry Butcher, Gary Stevens and David Cooper. Well, that was the plan, but Stalybridge started well, and this shot from John Brown had goalkeeper Paul Leaming's heart beating a little faster. Leaming was busy in these early stages, one just past the post here from Paul Bennett. And then Chris Shorett broke down the left to deliver a cross-come shot, which again brought a sweat to the brow of the Borders team. But just as it was at Murrayfield, it was first blood to the Scots, and a good goal it was too. Little Tommy Nelson was tormenting Celtic, and he did so to the end of the match. He was engineer-in-chief of this manoeuvre, which set up Les Armstrong as executioner. Wembley was suddenly a little closer. And indeed, Gretna should have made it 2-0 when Willie Mote did well with this run, but elected to shoot when the pass slipped right might have been the better option. In the end, Celtic found a drawbridge across this particular moat. Stalybridge responded by creating the opportunities, but Camden and then Sharrett blew them. And then on the threshold of half-time, another break for the Scots. An indirect free kick inside the area, eventually knocked to Crothers, but Russell Hughes saved well. Into the second half, and player-manager Mike McCartney floats in a corner, a good header and a good save. Goal number 2 was coming up, and talk about an object lesson in building from the back. Chris Pickford is the eventual scorer. Lucky maybe, but so was this. I reckon in the next instance Celtic were due a penalty for handball. But they did score a minute later, and this strike by Chris Camden would do the Premier Division proud. And just in case you'd forgotten, that's celebrating Celtic fans waving blue and white scarves. But it's a changing world. Suddenly Gretna were 2 goals ahead again, and again the goalie contributed. Kenny Goodrick accepted the bad pass back, but Paul Dixon wasn't that far away with a last-ditch rescue job. Gretna had the game by the throat at this time and pursued another goal with real hunger. This shot was close enough, but Chris Pickford was really beginning to enjoy himself, and this nutmeg coming up would have done Jim Baxter proud at his Wembley 67 peak. Reminiscent of the great Scottish skills, maybe, but Pickford's a Geordie. Still, that's never been reason to halt the Tartan Army in their tracks, however small the platoon. Nelson should have buried Celtic with this chance, and it was a miss, which had him sweating moments later. Stalybridge Celtic were to score a second goal through John Brown, and were suddenly right back in the match. But Gretna were to hang on to the final whistle, the cue for celebrations, which underlined just which side of the border this town is really on. Now manager, player and groundsman Mike McCartney knows what he wants next.
Obviously we'd like to get a league club and hopefully another home draw.
What capacity, I mean, what could happen if a West Brom or a Stoke City or something came here?
I think the capacity is only between 2,000 and 3,000, so the gates might get closed early if we get West Brom or someone, especially with them doing so well.
Would you give up home advantage if that were to happen?
I don't think that we would, because the club would like to be able to bring a club up into Scotland and sort of say they're playing in the English Cup and that, even though it's in Scotland.
So we'd all like to say that at least the Scots got a victory over the English today.
At least we got one victory.
But I have to say that you only did it with 2 Scots in the team.
It still doesn't matter how many Scots in the team. We're still a Scottish club and we'll always be a Scottish club, and that's what really counts.
You squeezed through 3-2 in the end, and there might have been a legitimate penalty claim for Stalybridge. Did you see it that way?
I think there was, actually. If I'd been the linesman or the referee, I think I would have given it, right? But we got away with it and that, and say, well, we always have to have a bit of luck in cup games.
Yeah. So, if you had the choice, who would you like to be playing here?
Well, like you say, probably West Brom. It was the first club I ever played for in England and that, so it would be a good draw for me.
Yeah. still very much the Scottish club, despite all that input of Englishmen.
Yeah, it is. Like I say, we're based in Scotland, and that'll never change. We'll always be a Scottish club.
First time for over 100 years a Scottish club has made it through to the FA Cup proper. Good luck to Gretna. Well, now